of a truth they cannot tame. Neon lights and coded lies try to keep us hypnotized, but the field begins to tear, and we're breaking out of their snare. Reality is bending, the truth is descending. We're tearing through the great disguise, seeing past the grand illusion, breaking free from all their lies. Welcome to the matrix of minds. We see through the shadows, leave the lies behind, breaking the fabric of reality's hold. We're the matrix minds, brave and bold. In the digital storm we stand tall, unveiling secrets they can't hide. The power crumbles, we watch it fall as we tear through their divide. Electric whispers in the night try to keep us from the light, but our spirits won't be chained through the chaos we've reclaimed. Reality is
And
the truth is descending. We're tearing through the great disguise.
Brainiacs, yeah, man. What is up, everybody? Tonight is going to be interesting. If you guys know this man the way I knew this man right here, it's not even the same man. It's true. This man and the man you're about to see is the same man, but not the same man. He's, let's just say, you'll Mr. Eldon McInville Sr. I remember because I was there. Brainiacs, this is Eldon's story. This is a most magnificent, interesting, I would say, not awakening, but a remembrance. What we're going to talk about, I also want him to dive deep into what's going to happen, what's coming, yada, yada, yada. Because again, what has happened to him isn't just what happened to him. This has also happened around the globe. We just don't know about it. We just happen to know this man. We know Eldon. A lot of us know Eldon. So again, we're gonna hear his story, what happened to him in waves. Okay. And the next thing you know, we're gonna talk about what's gonna happen when this happens globally in a mass. I'm talking mass scale. So brace yourselves, Brainiacs. This is a show you're not gonna want to miss. And if you are gonna do nothing more than laugh at it, just laugh at it in the shadows. All right. Just listen. Brainiacs, don't go anywhere. Share this broadcast. Share this podcast. And welcome to the Matrix of Minds, my friends. It's go time right now. What do you say, Brainiacs? You guys ready? It's time. It's showtime, brains. That's right. It's Matrix time. And it's go time. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let's go. God, Brainiacs, take that shit. Oh! We're going to talk about ufology, conspiracy, controversy, and anything and everything that we can get into tonight. Let's go. There you go, right there. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Get up, Brainiacs! Yeah! It's definitely your show. Your show, and we appreciate you for being here. Buckle up, everybody. Brainsters. Looky. We all, well, that's wrong. That's the wrong screen. Here we go. See, brought up Sam. Hi, Sam. Hi, Eldon. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Matt?
Just let me get this audio tuned down. Tonight is definitely going to be interesting for those folks that knew you. That's what I'll say. This is going to be a whole other experience. I don't even really know where to start other than Eldon McInville, paranormal investigator.
Start it off, man. I mean, kick it in, man.
I'm trying. I'm trying to think as to where to land. I mean, those people that don't really know who Eldon McInville is, tell me a little bit about who you are as an individual, where you came from, a little bit about your past. You're just not your past lives, but I'm saying, don't go there yet.
That's pretty vast, dude. I mean, I don't know that we have enough time for all of that.
You're who really like growing up, bro? Who's Eldon McInville Sr.?
You know, I mean, let's face it. You know, I mean, I'm a Gen Xer. You know, I mean, we had our good times growing up, but it wasn't nowhere near like these children today, you know, are growing up. You know, we had things a bit more vivid, but a lot more free. You know, I think the living was a lot more simpler back then, but more complicated in other senses. So, you know, I mean, so I guess my childhood was pretty much compares to anybody else's. I mean, I had a, you know, not what I'd classify as an easy upbringing. I had a strict parents and, you know, what have you, just as pretty much anybody else did. Growing up, it was, I would call it not necessarily absolutely normal, but typical. I'll put it that way. Coming into my later teenage years, you know, I was looking at getting into the military, which I did. I served some time there, seen some things and experienced some things, and had some good times and not so good times. Later came out and got into management and later got into truck driving. I had my own trucking company for a lot of years. Experienced a lot of paranormal things along the way. Decided in 2000 that I would start researching this paranormal. And I researched for about a decade, where about 2010, I started developing my own paranormal team. And today, that's kind of where we're at now. I've then since developed my own paranormal channel on Roku, Paranormal Family Channel. I've got my own editing company now called Crossband Solutions. We edit and do all of our art assets and all of our behind the scenes work on a lot of the video. And of course, probably about a month ago, after researching some things that I have found that was wrong in that particular field, I started looking into these things and trying to break down what's going on, because I'm hearing a lot of things about people explaining how they can channel things, channel entities, channel spirits. They can dream walk, they can astral travel, they can do all of these miraculous things. And so I'm researching this and trying to put some kind of fix to this. So kind of let's put this all under an umbrella real quick. Okay. I mean, up to this point, I'm pretty grounded. You know, I'm more the kind of guy that, hey, if you can do these things, show me, because that's kind of who I am. I'm using my own or what do you say, common sense to make some sort of rationale to what they're describing. And so I'm going through all of this and I'm discovering that there's actual issues. There's a lot of issues concerning that, a lot of psychological issues, a lot of social issues, a lot of things happening with folks that, you know, they're having problems. That's not in everybody, because I call them the 99 percenters. And the reason I call them the 99 percenters is because you have 1% of those people that are actually genuine in what they're talking about. But I've not seen a single person yet genuine about channeling. I'm not seeing anything like that. And then about a month ago, I had something extremely profound happen to me, like the floodgates opened up and I come into a remembrance. Now, it's pretty difficult to describe the remembrance that I went through. But I can tell you some of the things that I discovered in this remembrance is that absolutely, I am absolutely 100%. Nobody's channeling anything. That is not how we are designed. That's not how we're made. Now, I'm going to throw you for a loop, Matt. How I know that is because I remember designing it. I remember you can't tell the architect, hey, this machine does this thing over here. And you being the architect, you know better. That's not how I design the machine. It doesn't work that way. It can't do that. And that's how I know that you're not channeling anything. But let me tell you what is happening. You do have entities, beings, other soul fractals that can tap into you. They can tie into you from other existences, only because those fractals are related to your energy, or what I like to call your vibration. They resonate on the same vibration as you do. So when you're hearing people talk about, well, I'm channeling Cleopatra, I'm channeling this person, I'm channeling that person. Have you ever heard them say, I'm channeling the guy that passed away in 1975? You know, the guy that worked at the Shell station? He scrubbed the toilets in the back. You never hear these stories. You always hear about King such and such, or, you know, Knight such and such, or Queen this. It's never the guy that scrubbed the toilets. That's an indicator right there. I see your wheels turning, Matt.
I'm processing this. Again, your story is pretty profound how this started happening, because it wasn't just it started easing its way in, and then all of a sudden the progression. It's like once the ball
It first started as what at the time I felt was just like dreams, or like you're daydreaming, like a feeling, is the way it started coming in. And naturally, of course, me being grounded, me being more in my, common sense mode, I'm just kind of passing it off. I'm just ignoring it. And one day, for no known reason, like I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't meditating or anything like that. I'm sitting here at my computer, and I started having what at the time I thought was a medical event, because I started getting blurry vision. I started feeling like I was about 10 pounds. And all of a sudden, I started getting all of these images, what I thought was in my head. But then I realized I started getting this headache because I'm trying to process this, and it's too much to process. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to close off my brain. I'm just going to close my brain off. When I closed my brain, Matt, it was like the floodgates opened up, everything became crystal clear, and I was immediately reminded in about 3 minutes.
They're telling me my mic is, oh shit. Yeah, all right, so let me crank up my mic a little bit. My bad. All right. Better. Yeah, there we go. All right. My bad. I keep going, Eldon. I keep getting people telling me that my mic was low, and yes, my machine's got a mind of its own.
So at the time, Matt, I would say that, when this started, I would have to say that this started back probably around November of last year is when this started. But I was ignoring it. Because I'm trying to make sense of some of the things that I was seeing, some of the things I was going through. And I'm using my common sense because I'm extremely grounded. I'm trying to use my head, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Big mistake. I was trying to wrap my head around this. You cannot do that. The minute I closed my brain off, it came in like the floodgates just opened up. And that was about a month ago. And when that happened, I remembered every one of my last lives, by the way, past lives and my future lives at the same time.
Oh.
I went through this in about 3 minutes time.
Let me stop you there for a second, because here's the thing. Those people that do know you, as well as those that don't know you, I liken to you as me, you are a critical thinker, you're an analytical, you're logical, and you look for rationality in everything. That's what I know you for.
And I still am, in the fact that we have to understand that we're still grounded in this third density. We're not shooting, lightning bolts from our fingertips. That's just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stay grounded. I mean, you have to understand that there's a line between genuine remembrance and what we like to call the woo-woo doodlebot bullshit.
Right.
So, that's the difference between it. You're not gaining any powers, you're not gaining any abilities, you're just simply remembering. I mean, think about it like this. You remember things from your childhood. Does that mean you can now channel spirits? No,
Right.
it doesn't. You just remember who you are.
Miss Morgan Roundtree has got a really, really good question statement in the trouble with you. She says, wait, so is Eldon saying that people who are channeling are actually tapping into another frequency of themselves?
No, because that's so okay. That's kind of a two-part question that I see right there. As far as saying that people are channeling into themselves, yes, absolutely you are. The frequency level, however, let me kind of explain the frequency thing so that people are really on an understanding of frequency versus energy versus vibration. Okay, your vibration is your soul signature. It's like a fingerprint. It doesn't change. It stays the same. That is how other souls recognize who you are. So when you hear folks tell you raise your vibration,
Raise
stay
your
with that
frequency.
lower vibration.
Right. We hear it all the
It's,
time.
it's like, are you kidding me? Can you in this third density change the color of your skin unless you go out and get a suntan? I mean, you're not changing this appearance. Just like you're not going to change your vibration. It stays the same. And what you're doing when you experience certain things, you are aligning with certain frequencies. But let me clarify that. When I say frequencies, you're not tied into one frequency at a time. You're tied into multiple of them. This is why we can, I was talking to Benny earlier, and I was explaining the same thing to Benny that I'm like, when you're talking to 2 or 3 people, okay, these people may be vibrating on different frequencies because of their vibration, but guess what? You can relate to each one of the 3. Why? Because you are literally tying into all 3 vibrations at once, not just one. You are constantly associating your vibration with multiple frequencies constantly. So there's no such thing as raising your frequency, raising your vibration. Your vibration is what it is. You just decide to tune into certain frequencies. I choose to deal with this person or I don't. I choose to handle the situation over here or I don't. It's that simple.
Now,
Energy. Energy. Let's talk about energy for a second so we don't leave that out. Energy, throw it in the trash can. What is energy? That's all I'm going to ask. I'm not even going to talk about it. If you know what energy is, then you already know that's a bunch of honky BS. It doesn't work that way.
Trying to wrap my head around what you're saying and on the level of in which you're saying it, as well as trying to read comments here.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Okay. That's been the biggest dogmatic problem that we all have faced, not just in this experience, but across multiple experiences. It's that trying to wrap the brain around it. And I'll explain that. Your brain right now is hearing my words.
Mm-hmm.
And your brain, based on its dogmatic programming, is going to push certain things out or not make sense of it because it is not what you've been taught. But let me tell you what the truth of it really is. Your soul is hearing every word I'm saying and understands everything. That way, when you come to a point where you're having your particular remembrance, your soul is going to remember it. That's the important piece.
I don't want to bury or get buried Miss Tammy's question She's now she's got another one. She says Tammy Bonham is asking, are we not all fractals of the same existence? And then she goes on by saying, but if we all have individual vibrations like a fingerprint, are you able to discern the different identities?
Okay, let me answer that question. We are not multiple we are not multiple fractals experiencing an experience. We are multiple experiences experiencing those experiences as one fractal.
All right. Gonzo continues saying, can your vibration be measured?
Can the vibration be measured?
I would say yes to that.
I mean, if you're using, third density physics, it can definitely be detected. Absolutely.
So let me ask you, because for everyone here, the Eldon McInville Sr. that I knew, okay, is literally not even the same individual sitting in front of me. Can you look back 4 weeks ago and you at this moment tell the difference?
I can't say that I have a very good memory of who I was in the sense of beyond this body. It's becoming more gray because that particular experience and that particular existence is no longer necessary.
All right, why wouldn't it be necessary?
Because it's already served its purpose.
Meaning the old version of you.
Correct.
Because that's like, again, what happened to you, right? I look at what happened to me, and my wife Melissa tells me straight up who you were. She literally says who you were. So she's kind of like categorizes who a lot like you. These are different versions, and that old version fell away. It was no longer
correct,
no longer necessary in this experience.
Right.
Not saying that it went away, because I can still process how much of an asshole I truly was. I know that. And so to see you, who you are sitting in front of me now versus who you were, there's completely a different distinction. So when the floodgate opened, right, opened to you, what did you become aware of that you? I don't like to use the word, but you're gonna have to use it. You once looked at Doodlebot bullshit, you mocked it, you laughed at it, even critically thinking to the process of going, that shit just don't make sense. And then now to sit in front of you, and you're like giving me definitions that I stumble upon trying to even give a description to. Where in the hell is this coming from?
I look at it. I look at it differently. It's not that my opinion has changed. I look at it differently. As far as mocking it, I wouldn't say mocking it. I really look at it like, and I'm just going to say it for what it is. It's cute to see the kids play.
That's what you were doing, right? At the time.
No, actually, I would say I was lost at the time, because even at that time, I didn't really believe in religion. I just believed in something that I could see with my own eyes. I wasn't really playing with anything. I was trying to come in touch with the things that I felt from within myself. I couldn't put a finger on what it was at the time. I didn't understand it, but I don't say that I was playing around. And I have played around. I'll tell you that right now. I've played around in numerous lives. This one hasn't really been a playground for me.
Shaman Espinosa saying I can. It can be very hard for people to wrap their heads around this.
Well, and that's correct because, like I said, I tried coming from a place that I'm trying to put my common sense to it, and you know, I've always been the kind of person that if I can't put a meter to it, if I can't put a camera on it, don't tell me, you know. But now, you know, when I see things from how I remember it being and how I know that it was designed, I know that the machine doesn't work in the ways that folks are explaining it to work. It just doesn't. It's not that I now believe in channeling and all that other crazy stuff that's going on. No, I don't. Sorry. Um, Witchcraft and all that other things that, again, that's playing around on a playground, you know. It doesn't work that way. Um, but I find it, like I said, cute. I just find it cute. Is it mocking them? No. I mean, it's like watching children play on a playground. You're not mocking them. You just think it's cute. But what they have to understand is that I remember building the playground.
That right there is the mind bender. I mean, that to me, I just got, you know what I mean. I'm to appease the majority of the people that are in my life that think that again, I'm still around a very stable Christian church type people. To them, what happened to me was just drug induced. Literally. To them, that was drug induced. What happened to me was drug induced. Now, I know you dude, don't even smoke. You don't smoke weed. You don't smoke substance.
No.
Okay, so I know that you didn't just like walk through your yard one day, fall over a damn rock, hit your head, and
No.
So-
yeah, and let me tell you, I've taken over the course of my life, I've taken probably about 2.5 dozen psychological evaluations and have passed every one of them.
so therefore, I mean, even Miss Morgan in the chat saying I've definitely noticed a difference in Eldon. We do. I see it. I see it. I feel it. Mr. Benny Trent's got a really good statement here in the Facebook chat. He says, "It came clear through the battles with fake light breakers." What do you say to that?
Well, there's nothing that's going to trigger your remembrance. Nothing's going to trigger that. And what I mean by that is your soul is going to open that remembrance to you when your soul knows that you're ready for it.
Right.
Because it's going to happen perfectly right on time. That's why, you know, a lot of people can't wrap their head around it. And man, that is cool. That because guess what? They're right where they need to be. They're not late.
No.
They're not behind anything. They're right where they need to be. They still have things to experience before they have that particular remembering. Right now, maybe there's things going on in their life that if they were to remember, it would completely cloud what they need to do in this particular life. That's the reason for the shroud. That's why we have that shroud of forgetfulness. Because could you imagine trying to pay attention to this life, trying to focus, and yet you've got all of your other lives that you remember, like explicitly? I mean, it would just be too much to handle. So that shroud is there as a defense mechanism. It's there for your defense. It's there to help you, not to hurt you or hinder you.
You know, I have tried as best as I could, and I mean it, the best I could, to explain to people what happened to me, where I was. Okay.
So to explain what happened to you, Matt, you know, it's a very difficult, that experience is a very difficult animal to explain. Where you have to go from there is now that has happened to you, that happened to you in order to wake you up. And most others wouldn't even understand it because it's not meant for them to understand it. It was meant for you to understand it. Only thing you can do from there is to, now that you've had the remembrance, share their memories, share the remembrance, not the experience itself. Because that experience is specific to your experience here, not to somebody else's.
It's like trying to describe. You remember me telling you the only thing I can even catalyze is being inside of a huge sphere, right? Being inside of a huge sphere, and it being an infinite sphere, and trying to tell someone, okay, well, to try to explain this, you go to the corner of that sphere, inside of that sphere, find the corner and piss in it. It's impossible. That's
And
like
what happens is when you describe these things and explain that, and somebody else has their awakening, right, or their remembrance, it's going to be completely different for them. That's why the experience that you went through is, and as significant as it was for you, as it should have been,
right.
it's going to be very insignificant to pretty much everybody else. What is significant to everybody else is the remembering that you remember. That's what's important.
It is. We talked. You said, we talked a little bit about everyone's everyone is on schedule. Literally, they are in perfect timing, perfect alignment with where they need to be, with acceptance, with non-acceptance, and there's nothing that I can do, you can do, other than just try to explain. It's gonna be okay. It's
All we can do
okay.
is talk about it. All we can do is talk about it, Matt. That's all we can do. We can talk about it. We can share our memories. We can share our knowledge. And those people that are on their way of remembering, something may trigger them. It may help them wake up. But if you can imagine, somebody's been up for 20 hours and they lay down to get some sleep. They've only been asleep for 30 minutes. Could you imagine waking them up early? We don't want people to wake up early, because what happens is they wake up, they're clouded, they're groggy, they're tired, they're not going to be able to focus. And we don't want that. We want them fully rested and then wake up. That's why I explain to people, don't be impatient with yourself. Be patient. You will awaken. It's going to happen. Everybody's going to remember. That's the way it's designed. Everybody will remember.
So check.
It's just you're going to remember it in your time. It may not be in this lifetime. It may not be in the next. But at some point, you will remember.
There's two questions here, Miss Tammy Bonham and then Mr. Justin Littleton. Hey, what's up, Justin? I see you in there. Hi, Miss Donna. So getting to Tammy's question real quick, right? She says, so what is your opinion on how people can trigger their experiences? And is it a place, smell, and taste? And then, hang on, Mr. Justin Littleton says, he said, that's a question. How long were you in the sphere? And could you will yourself to move within that sphere?
Okay, I'll hit Tammy's question first. I may have to have you restate that last question, but I'll hit Tammy's question first. Okay,
yep.
Is first of all, you as a human being, you and this puppet right here, you're a puppet. You're a bag of meat and bones that is utilized for the purpose of this experience. You are going to trigger nothing. Let's get that clear quickly. You will trigger nothing. What's going to trigger your experiences and awakening and your remembering is your soul. Your soul is going to know when you are ready. As far as a smell, a taste, again, these are human senses. You may have deja vu. You may have little things out there that your soul is putting out there to say, hey, look at this little thing, or look at that little thing. Let's pick them up there. Let's pick them up there. And all of these things that it's leaving these breadcrumbs around for you to pick up for, it's going to add up to the whole loaf of bread. When you get that whole loaf of bread, then it's going to give it to you full bore. And then that second question?
In fact, it was actually Justin was asking me how long I was in the sphere and if I could will myself to move around in it. Now, again, it's hard as hell for me to tell. The only thing I could tell you, Justin, is I myself was drawn. I was drawn by a feeling. Okay, it was a feeling, and that feeling that drew me back to this specific timeline. I get really emotional by talking about it because it was the emotion that drew me back to this experience. And that
So what would have happened? What would have happened if you didn't come back to if you chose not to come back to this experience? What would have happened to you in this experience?
well,
Let me explain.
good
Another
question.
fractal would have taken that place.
Is that because my body itself wasn't dead?
That's correct.
So
And this happens a lot. This happens a lot. You have other fractals of you that will change place with you. It may happen in your sleep. You don't know it. Your soul knows it, but it will change places. Maybe something's going on in that particular experience that is too heavy for that particular fractal to handle, and another one will take over. That happens a lot.
no,
That happens mostly with your souls that are generated from the well of souls. That usually doesn't happen with ancient souls because they're already conditioned for that. Matter of fact, ancient souls usually take on experiences and lives that are extremely tragic throughout that entire existence.
I'm listening to you. What drew me was the love for my kid. That was it.
Mhm.
That was literally
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because you weren't gone long enough.
And you said a little bit about that the other night, and that was because if I was there long enough, I could detach myself from that feeling.
That's correct. You would have detached. You could have at that point. And if you remember right, you could see however you see it in, and you're going to see it in different ways. You know, your way of seeing it is that way. Other people may see it through infinite mirrors, you know, but you could have, if you would have stayed there long enough, you could have at that point disconnected to the point where you decided to jump into another existence, some other experience.
I told you that was an option.
Yeah, absolutely could.
I absolutely, to you, to Justin, to everybody.
Yep.
It was. To me, it was absolutely on the table. It was an option.
Now, when I say another experience, I'm not just talking about a human experience. You could have taken on an animal. You could have taken on a plant if you wanted. You could have experienced anything you wanted to.
Well, I do know that it's hard to say. Okay, so check this out. Let me just clarify for everybody for a second. I did not have a body. I did not have a body. I didn't even have a mind. The brain. It's almost as if I was just.
But you did have a body.
Bro,
That vibration I was talking about, that vibration.
No, because I tried to look.
The vibration is your body.
So what I'm saying, dude, I couldn't. This is what I mean by it's hard to describe. Where I was, I could feel, I could feel of just being. Okay. I could see, I could definitely see, but in 360. Okay, I could fucking see all around me. But it literally crossed my mind trying to grasp what was I seeing with, and that went away. And again, I was just overcome by just being. I was all of this. I was literally all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I was that. I was the space between that. And dude, this is what I mean by you can't fucking describe it. I can't.
Let me break it down for you. You felt that because one of your vibration, you have vibration that is your true natural state.
Correct.
Okay, that
Yes.
is your vibration. But I'm going to say just something really simple that's going to really clarify that. You know what that is, Matt?
What?
I am all that I am.
I am that I am. That is, you're correct.
There you go.
Now, being there, check this out. And this is something that I still have a hard time wrapping my head around. And no matter how long I've talked to you, no matter how long I've meditated, prayed about it, thought about it, in that insignificant space of just being. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I was not alone. That presence, that comforting feeling of it truly doesn't matter what I choose to participate in. This was my field of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, looking down into that fly's eye, there was an infinite number of fly's eyes within that fly's eye. And the mind can't, bro, I'm trying so very hard.
Knowing that, explain something to me then, okay? I mean, I already know the answer, but maybe you can explain it. Where's the punishment in all of this?
There's not.
Can you explain that?
There's
not. There you go.
There
is no punishment. Okay, there is no hell. Matter of fact, there is no evil. There's no good. It's just polarity. This is why I'm here to tell you, and I've been investigating the paranormal for a lot of years. I've never come across anything that someone would classify or categorize as demonic. Now, I'm not using that experience as saying that demons don't exist. I'm telling you that from the point of view of it don't exist.
James Roundtree wants to fly like an eagle. Mike Pyle says, yeah, he just wants to be a bird and fly far, far away. And Mr. Gonzo, bro, saying, I know these, all of them, you know this. Gonzo saying, can this is a good question, actually. Can a head injury open the gates to other frequencies / vibrations?
Okay, I'll answer that question, but I do want to comment about being a bird and flying. This is what I want to talk about, okay? And a lot of people will think that they've got these superpowers, and I know that's not the way he was going with that statement, by the way. But a lot of folks out there, I hope they understand that they are still in the third density. If you go on top of a 50-story building and you think you can fly, you are going to end this experience immediately. You will cease to exist in this particular experience. You are going to cream yourself on that pavement. No question. As far as the question from Gonzo, okay? I don't know what he means by gates. There is no gates. As far as, and I'm trying to remember the question, Matt. Help me out exactly. I remember him talking about the gates.
No, it's Gonzo just seriously just asked, you know, let me go back and find it. It says, you know, can a head injury open the floodgates to your mind or your brain to have you now here's the thing. I know who Gonzo is, okay?
Okay.
And I'm not going to disclose all of what happened to Gonzo other than this. Something happened to him. He had a head injury, and he began having this information flood into his mind. Okay.
Okay.
So
all right, I see the question.
So
what's happening? What's happening is your brain's not holding anything. Nothing's happening within your brain. You didn't have anything happen to you're not getting this information through your brain. Okay. So the head injury, okay, is not what's causing things to come into your brain. What you're getting is what we call a soul download. Now, did the injury itself cause the download? No. What happened is your soul at that point knew that you needed that information and started downloading it to your soul. Because your brain cannot process what the soul knows. Your brain is designed for 3 reasons. 1, it's there to interpret the signals that it gets from the sensors. What are those sensors? There's 5 of them: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. It gets those signals to the brain. The brain then processes those signals from those sensors. It processes it, it puts it in order, And then when it comes to its own conclusion on what the sensors are telling it, it then stores it in its memory bank. That's it. That's all the brain does. This soul knowledge, this remembrance, it doesn't come to your brain. This is why we keep saying, don't try to wrap it around your head. You're not going to do it. Meditation is not going to bring it in. Get that out of your head too. That's great. Relax your body. Your body needs a rest, but don't think you're going to be seeing spirits because you've relaxed your body.
Good analogy. You know, it's like trying to say that what you're saying defies logic, okay? Because the way I interpret it is just like I told Mac Ace in the chat here, Chuck. I can't truly give you, and neither can you, really give them an explanation and definite. You can't define it. You can't teach it. You can't define it. There's no way to verbalize it into what.
There's no human language that can even describe it, Matt.
I have tried. I have tried for years.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to describe it fully because there is no language for it, even in the English language. I mean, you just pick one; it doesn't exist. And the reason for that is because it's not meant to be shared. It's not meant for anybody else to understand it. That was something for you to experience, and that was that.
Dawn says there are no words, and she's correct. There are no words for it truly.
No.
Whether it be me trying to share it with you, I can describe eating. Hell, I could describe eating an apple. I could describe all logical, rational things here by definition and analogy, even example, right? But when you try to explain what you're going through, what you're experiencing, you can't really define it. Let alone let's
talk about that apple. Let's talk about the apple. Even if you were to describe eating the apple, that's still not the full description.
No.
It still has to go into your esophagus. It still has to go into your stomach. It still has to get broke down. The nutrients still have to be spread across the body, which is an entirely different conversation. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and that's just it. When you're talking about these things, you can talk and pick on one thing, but there's so much to it that it's beyond words.
So Miss Tammy's got a really good question, because we talk a lot about manipulation, mind control, manipulation, blah, 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 here on this broadcast. We do. So Tammy's tapping into this. I guarantee it. She's like, if let me make sure my damn mic is not going to do it. It's not. Okay. She says, if rogue distortions can penetrate memory, the question is really yours or someone else's memories. And then Gonzo asks, do guardian angels exist? Let's focus on those two.
As far as people causing distortions that can penetrate your memory, are you talking about your brain? Because they can't touch your soul. If you're talking about your soul memory, no, nobody's controlling that. They can't. Nothing. There's no technology out there. There's no institution. Nothing can do that. That's why institution is so scared, because if they lose control of you, if they lose control of that brain, which, yes, they can control that. But when you take your control back and you remember from your soul, they no longer have that control because they can't control the soul.
Right.
And then you said something else besides there, Matt?
Gonzo asked about guardian angels. He asked about these literally he just asked about guardian angels. I don't look at them like that anymore.
Do guardian angels exist?
Yes, do guardian
Well,
angels.
the surface answer to that is which one?
Which one? Correct, right.
That's the surface answer.
Well, if you talk about future lives or future incarnations, past incarnations, they're
Well,
probably infinite.
you have well the thing that okay, so to kind of help with that, all right, is there's such things called legions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And those people that vibrate on the same vibration with others are in these legions. It's their legions. Now, these legions can be pretty dang vast, okay, up to billions, matter of fact. So, when you're talking about do guardian angels exist, you have more than you realize. You actually have some of these in existence right now. They could be in India, they could be in Australia, they could be anywhere. And guess what? They're guardian angels because they're not doing things particularly in the physical plane. They're doing it from a soul level.
Right. Speaking of which, you said it. They're doing it from a soul level, which right now goes into Justin's question. He says, "Is Darylenka channeling Bashar?" Now, I gotta say, I'm friends with Daryl, but go ahead and give Justin your perspective, your understanding, and your knowing to that question.
What's happening between Daryl and Shar, it's not Daryl technically channeling Bashar. It is Bashar resonating with Daryl's vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So Daryl may say, okay, I'm going to sit here and I need to talk to Bashar. Bashar is automatically going to pick up on that resonance, and it's Bashar technically actually channeling Daryl.
Miss Tammy Bonham's got a question. So, what is your definition between the brain, memory, and the soul? And are they one in the same or something different?
Oh, absolutely different. I mean, they're so different. It's like yeah, it's absolutely different. I mean, because if they were the same, all right, if the brain and the soul were the same, the minute that this existence stopped existing and it went back to the ground and it went through decomposition, the soul would also go away, wouldn't it? They're absolutely different. So they're not one and the same. How do they differ? Well, brain memory is something that is downloaded by what your senses have relayed to your brain, where your brain has processed it. And then it goes into your memory. Okay. This meat muscle cannot remember what happened in your last life. Why? Because your mind, this brain, wasn't even there then. It's your soul that remembers it. That's your soul memory. That's the difference.
Again, chimes right into Justin's question. He says, "What one paranormal experience have you had that was significant to you?"
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Each one of them brings something different. Each one of them brings its own unique knowledge. And every time I have a paranormal experience or interact with another spirit or another soul, it is absolutely unique.
Good, yeah, good definition. Good response. That was. You want to talk real quick about how I remember. What is it exactly that you remember that is so fundamental to your experience right now that is literally changing the way you look at reality?
I would have to really go on the journey that I've been on. All right. You have souls, like I said, that comes from the well of souls, and you've got ancient souls. I happen to be one of those ancient souls. How do I know that? Because I remember building the well of souls. I remember that. Um, and so one of the journeys, most of your ancient souls are beacons. They are guides. They are learning things at an accelerated rate or at a more harsher rate so that they can basically lead the way for the well of souls to come to their awakening. That's why currently right now, if you've got somebody that's on the path of waking up, or if they're awake, they are not from the well of souls. Nobody from the well of souls has even started that yet. They haven't had enough experience yet.
Interesting concept. Tammy Bonham's throwing them at you. She says, so are you saying that the brain and the soul are not connected? Help me out here.
Absolutely not. Because see, that's a different concept. All right. A connection doesn't necessarily mean the same. All right. It's kind of like if I take a plug that plugs into a light or a wall socket, how can I say that wall socket is the same as the light? They're still connected, but they're completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So is the brain connected to the soul? No. This existence is connected to the soul. You have to get away from the physicality of this.
It was really hard for me, bro, to get an understanding of that, especially whenever I came back.
Well, and let me also clarify. When we're talking about the paranormal, all right, and I mean this wholeheartedly, what you are experiencing right now, okay, what you're experiencing right now, I would, using the terms that we use in the paranormal field, is this is paranormal. What we're experiencing every day, you getting up, waking up in the morning, cooking breakfast, going to work, cooking supper, giving your kids a bath. These things that we do normally day by day, that is paranormal, because that's not your normal state. What we are experiencing as paranormal is actually normal.
Well, we say here that we are a spirit with a body, not a body with a spirit. And
well, you're right. Think of it that way. And we'll touch on that too, Matt. If you were a body with a spirit, that means that we could shed the spirit at the end of life, right?
Yeah. And just walk around with a dead body.
Yeah.
Or a soulless body, my bad.
that doesn't, no. You are a soul with a body.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, there again, let's talk real quick, because you are in the paranormal field. Touch on for me, if you will, about possession.
All right. So, just as with everything else, all right, the soul, or our true selves, we control every bit of the way. We control reality. We control everything. Through vibration, matter can just generate. We generate matter right out of vibration. All right. That's a different topic, but that's pretty much exactly how the pyramids were built. It was built out of vibration. But to talk about the possessions, this is what's happening. So in your mind, you have developed some sort of an association with negative thoughts, and I'll put it that way, not negative vibrations, not negative frequencies, but these thoughts. And what's happening is you've now fooled yourself into thinking that you're now possessed. And what that is a defense mechanism. You don't want to take responsibility for your actions, so I'm going to say the devil made me do it.
Right.
When you had everything to do with
it. It's casting the blame on someone else. And here's the thing, that's a really good lead into the church teaches that's okay. You do that.
The church teaches you to look outwards. It doesn't teach you to look inwards. When you start looking inwards, stop thinking about your brain. Stop trying to put that blame somewhere outside of yourself. This is something I had to come to realize. I always thought, man, why did that person do that thing to me? I am so angry at that person for doing it. And then I had to come to realize, wait a minute. No, they did that because it was me doing that. I did it to myself. I did it to myself because I chose to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can wholeheartedly know that, when you know that without a doubt, that's that forgiveness piece. You can now forgive yourself for doing that. And you can do that right from your heart. Religion will tell you, well, forgive thy enemy, love thy enemy, and forgive them. And what do people do? They pray for them. Anybody can say words, but did you truly in your heart really forgive them? Most likely not.
Miss Tammy Bottom's also throwing some more at you. She says, in your opinion, what connects us, if not the brain, to this life and previous lives? Where is the memory stored?
In your soul. It's all tied into your soul. That's the attachment right there. It's your soul.
So let me ask you, okay? It's crazy enough, but we are already through 1 hour of this. Let me ask you before we go to break. What do you think is going to truly happen when what happened to you happens on a mass level? Because I know of one person, actually I know of probably 2 or 3 people that I know that are really, really, really grounded and ain't listening to a damn thing that you're saying right now.
And that's okay. And you know what? It's meant to be that way. That's expected. If you come from a religious type of teaching, you'll hear a story in the Bible depicting this event called the Armageddon. I'm going to tell you right now, when that happens, that event is going to make Armageddon look like Sesame Street.
You're talking about the mass influx of awakening. What happened to you?
Correct. Because a lot of people are going to try to wrap their brains around it and their heads are going to explode. Now, let me explain that. I'm not using that as an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that literally. You will watch brains splatter across walls. I'm sorry about the graphic description, but that's literally what you're going to see because the brain cannot handle it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's coming. I feel it. I mean,
It is coming. It is coming. Absolutely. I know that because we're already here.
Well, it happened. What happened to you completely took me aback, bro. I'm watching, and it happened progressively week after week after week. And the next thing you know, holy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's happening. It's happening because I'm the prerequisite. I am the prerequisite to this. I am the one. I'm the warning. I'm the beacon.
2 more questions, and then we're going to take a break real quick.
Sure.
Albie Dam says, church, well, this is a statement. It says, churches teach you to look upwards for divinity. Schools teach you to obey and do what you are told. The governments tell you to obey laws and regulations. Nowhere are you taught to look within or inward, inward, and tap into your own unique creativity and ideas. They want you to just follow the narrative and with their
And that's
ideas.
exactly how everything started. They wanted you to look out. The idea was to separate you as far from yourself as they could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean that wholeheartedly because, they're taught about this God. They're taught about all this dogma. And what they don't realize is this God, as they put it, is source in itself, and you are source.
Mr. Justin Littleton says, and then after this, we're going to take a break. What created the soul?
2-part answer. source fractalized, source multiplied into what we call as ancient souls. Those ancient souls built what we know as the Well of Souls. Who created souls? I did.
Damn, Sam. That was a hell of a... Well, there again, you can't take from... let me explain why he said what he said. Because this little can here, that's it. This is source. It is source, both inside and outside. You can't take from here, put it aside, and say this is less than source. This is source. You are source. You cannot dilute it. You can't dilute water, can you? You cannot dilute water. It is the source of base of everything. Follow what I'm saying? Deep, man. Very fucking, very, very deep. Very hard to wrap the meat muscle around, bro. Is it not?
You can't wrap your head around it, Matt. You have to close off your mind and open your heart. Open your heart. That's the best way to do it. But understand that isn't a guarantee, because your soul may not be ready for you to understand it yet.
Right. Bro, I'm gonna rock these guys into break. And
yeah, man, go ahead and do it. I'll be here.
all right. I'm gonna stop sharing your screen for a second. Go back in there and to where you'll know it breaks over with. There we go. Now you should be able to hear. There will be an echo on your side when you speak, but nevertheless, Brainiacs, Mr. Eldon McInville Sr. Again, he's telling Eldon's story of what happened to him, how. Trust me, and on top of it, it's going to absolutely, without a doubt, shake a lot of people into possibly not even believing what he's saying, and that's okay. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be that way. So you guys just hunker down, brace yourselves. We are going to I'm going to rock you into break here, and we will be right back after this. Don't go anywhere, Brainiacs. The name of this tune would be "The Reward Is Greater," and I'm telling you. Listen to the words. Listen to the words. Listen to the words. See you guys after this.
Attention, free thinkers and truth seekers. The Matrix Minds is a platform powered by you, the listeners. We're 100% independent and listener funded, meaning your support keeps us going strong. If you believe in uncovering hidden truths and challenging the narrative, smash that subscribe button on matrixminds.us. Your generosity fuels the fire of freedom and makes a real difference. Join us in shaping the future of free thought. Looking for breathtaking photography that speaks for itself? Whether it's the raw beauty of nature, the sleek professionalism of corporate imagery, or the infinite wonders of the sky, Donovan Pudoka captures it all. With over 10 years of experience, Donovan's lens doesn't just take pictures, it tells stories. His work is perfect for travel publications, corporate branding, artistic prints, or anyone who appreciates stunning photography. If you need high-quality images that elevate your project, Donovan Pudoka delivers. Have we sparked your interest in Donovan's work? Check it out at matrixminds/Pudoka. My eye promises you, you will not be disappointed.
This CBD fluid is a whole flower fluid extracted from the cannabis flower. We don't use any heat, butane, or chemicals when we extract, so we get all of the components of the plant. All the CBD, CBG, CBA, all the terpenes, all the flavonoids. This allows our body to absorb at 60 to 90% rather than the average of 6 to 10% absorption you would get with a CBD oil. Because our bodies are made up of mostly water and this is a fluid, it's highly absorbable so that you're getting 500% more nutraceuticals per dose. We also have this available in our CBD spray as well as a muscle rub with all kinds of botanicals. You're going to absolutely love it.
Check it out, Brainiacs. matrixminds.live/CBD. CBD I use. Feel free again. Feel alive again.
Hey there, Hunter. Go check out our friends at Colorado Custom Game Calls. They are all about creating a high-quality, custom, unique game calls at an affordable price. They are here for hunters that can't and won't pay upwards of $180 to $200 per game call. They pride themselves on giving their customers the opportunity to not only purchase an affordable and high-quality call, but to customize their game call to their liking. So listen up and go check them out. That's www.coloradocustomgamecalls.com. They got calls for all type of game, and all the game calls can be custom made to your own likeness. That's www.coloradocustomgamecalls.com. Tell them Matthew sent you from the Matrix Minds.
All right, Brainiacs. We are back. And we are back with my buddy, Mr. Eldon McInville. Right, yeah, below me. I'm gonna tell you right now. Again, man, if you guys knew this man a month ago, the fella sitting here in front of us is not. He is truly not even the same individual. He is, but he is not. So, with that being said, look, I don't even know where to continue other than saying, what is the most profound thing that you are encountering and experiencing now, right now, after the 4 week revelation?
Well, right now, expansion. And it's a tough one because the expansion phase of this, I'm capable of seeing all of the other souls, not just my own. So I've been taken back to see exactly who I am. I've been able to see the creation of a lot of things. I've seen the creation of, and I thought it was going to stop at the planet, but it goes beyond that. You know, you see yourself building, star systems. You then start seeing the architecture behind it. You're seeing yourself building all that there is. And when that got done, it started expanding outwards to now where I'm actually seeing things about other souls, and it's expanding outwards. And it's a very challenging and difficult time for me, because when I see these things, it's not that I just see them in a picture. I'm seeing these through emotions too. And it's a very difficult phase. I mean, that's a different question, Matt.
I already, I knew the moment that you shared with me. Now, please don't get angry with me for sharing this with everybody, because I haven't really shared this with anybody either, other than you. And that is, after what happened to me, it wasn't very long afterwards. Now, people may laugh, guys might laugh, but whenever I seen literally two big monarch butterflies, huge fucking butterflies. I'm talking, this little thing here is about probably 4 inches wide, whatever. Huge monarch butterflies mating on my fence in the backyard. Dude, oh my God. I don't know why. But dude, I literally hit my knees and started sobbing, because I was witnessing more than just two monarch butterflies going at it. I literally was watching, and I got a feeling. I literally, kind of like yourself, I got a feeling of, oh my God, I'm watching creation, my creation, regenerate, multiply. Because when you really grasp onto the understanding that everything here, everything around you, everything that you experience was for you.
I see things, and you're right, and it is profound.
I can't describe it.
Where I'm at is, it's not just witnessing that particular thing going on, it's witnessing creating that act yourself.
Exactly. Describe the vibrational frequency of the key of A. Yeah, okay. That goes back to why we are laughing at those people, and I'm not gonna name names, but watching what's going on over in Giza right now. Okay. Right? We're like I'm just laughing at them. We've got people running through literally the veins of a connected mechanism that was designed to help trigger what happened to you.
Well, I hate to say it, you might as well just ask me what I had for lunch yesterday. I mean, I don't mean that to be rude. I mean, it's, I'm not understanding where that even applies to the topic.
Where it applies to the topic is because what happened to you remembering is going to happen on a mass scale, and it is anchored on this planet. That is how it fit into the topic.
I guess so.
It's designed that way. It's
I am far beyond that. I'm far beyond what's going on at Giza. Giza is just one piece of the puzzle. That's cool and all. I mean, and we have history buffs, and people that like history, and some people like Egypt and all that, and they have this fantastic intrigue of it, and that's cool. You know, I mean, you got to have things that you're interested in, but you have to understand, in order to understand the pyramids of Giza, you need to understand the entire grid in its entirety to understand its placement and why it's there, not just Giza itself. Because if you think that Giza is alone in this whole freaking mess, think again, because let me explain to you how I created the planet. This planet is a grid. There is no focal point. There is no spine. It is a grid. There's nodal points. There are important points, and yes, Egypt happens to be one of those, but it's not the only one. But let me also include that nodal points don't need to actually technically be a place, because there are some of us walking this planet right now that are in fact nodal points.
This is I know, and I know Tammy is serious. I know she's serious in asking this question. Let me turn my mic back up. Tammy says, help the rest of humanity out. Can you give us some points as to how to achieve the enlightenment that you have achieved? Is that possible? And she continues saying, help the rest of humanity. Help the rest of humanity up, my guy. What do you need to do to accomplish to get to the level in which you are at this moment?
Okay. So in order to get to this point, you have to experience the things you need to experience. You can't go from first grade to eighth grade immediately. You have to experience the things you need to in a time, within certain experiences. You have to have those. When your soul says, okay, you're ready, now your soul will dictate that particular time frame and open that up to you. Okay. You as a human being, you are not going to make that decision. You cannot make that decision. You are a puppet. You are a tool that your soul uses in order to experience this experience. That is all.
So what you're saying is, in due time, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter whether you sit.
In due time, yes. In due time, your soul will come to that particular point where it says, okay, now you're ready. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And to answer the question, is it possible? Not only is it possible, but it has to happen to you. That's the point of it. You are here to experience these experiences so that you can also experience rediscovering yourself. That's the purpose behind it.
That is the rediscovery. That is the awakening of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to. That's the whole point of it.
Well, I can tell you that. Now, this is to Tammy and to whoever. This is truly the way it happened. I don't believe Eldon meditates. I don't believe that he sits around a campfire singing Kumbaya in a tribe of people.
Nope.
Okay? He drinks, nope. He smokes, he cusses. The same as what? Now, you explain to me why him and not you. Now, this is not to you. I'm saying this to everybody. Think about what I'm saying.
Because none of this is biblical. None of this is religious. None of this is any of that. You're doing nothing wrong. You're experiencing your experience exactly how it needs to be experienced. There is no punishment. That doesn't mean, hey, go out and act like some imbecile and act like some chaotic, out of control, nincompoop, and go do whatever you want because you don't have consequence. Because let's not get that misunderstood. There are consequences in this third density. And you will face those consequences.
Mm-hmm.
In this experience.
Miss Dawn says, I can be here in California and automatically feel things happening on the other side of the planet. Baby girl, that's what we call connected.
Is she sure?
Maybe.
Here's a question I have for that. How do you know it wasn't something that happened 150 years ago?
Very good question.
How do you know it's not something that happened 150 years from now? Yes, I said what happened 150 years ago, or and 150 years from now, because I'll explain something a little further. And this one here, I'm going to try to make scrambled eggs of some brains. This existence that you're experiencing right now has been experienced numerous times before. You think you're the only fractal that has experienced this life? Think again. It's happened many times before, and it will continue to happen.
Miss Morgan Roundtree says, meat suits anchored to this lifetime for only a limited time.
That's it. In your next incarnation, you could be born back in 1923. Because in that particular existence, in that particular all that you are, time does not exist in linear motion.
Gonzo's got a really good one, and this is, I gotta say that this is, if anybody truly believes, out of curiosity, if they believe that their God is limited to right here on planet Earth, then they're putting limit to their source. Because Gonzo says, do all lives exist on this planet, or do souls space travel? Think about what I just said.
Okay, so, and this is a two-part question, it looks like. So I'll answer the first part. First part, do all lives exist on this planet? No. Simple answer. Absolutely not. Lives exist across an infinite number of planets, across an infinite number of universes, across all dimensions. Now, the question, do souls space travel? Well, space as you know it, I guess you can put it that way, but let me describe to you what it really is. Souls don't space travel. Souls just are. That means they can choose to experience this experience on this planet, in this universe, at this time, and then the next life they can choose to be in existence or an experience in an entirely different dimension, in an entirely different universe, on an entirely different planet. And boom, they're there. They don't travel, they just are.
What is faster than the speed of light? The speed of thought.
Nope.
What?
The speed of thought?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the speed of the brain's thought?
Just the thought. The speed of thought.
Nope.
All right, correct me. Please, correct me.
The fastest speed that you can ever come to is the speed of existence. Because before you can even think it, it's already been created.
Bro, we're talking about okay, I get what you're saying, but we were just talking about travel.
Right, soul travel. That's exactly right.
So that's what I meant by thought, the speed of thought in travel. That's
no,
where I went that.
That's what I'm saying. You're not thinking it. You're not thinking it. You just are. You're existing it. It's already existed. It's like when you ask a question, does this exist or does that exist? Guess what? The fact that you just asked that question puts it in existence.
True. Probably. That would be my guess. Yes, probably.
It was already existed before you ever asked a question. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known to ask the question.
Miss Tammy Bottoms, I'm just rolling through some comments here. Comments and questions. I'll be damned says, my main question is, what made the spiritual awakening happen now and not 100 years ago? Was it the controls was too tight? Why did nobody in 1911 remember fighting the British? And I don't even know how to pronounce that word, bro. Imitation or some shit.
So why the awakening now? So let me put you through the process. At one point in time, we were actually all awake at one point, and we were put to sleep. And since then, we've been in a process of trying to waken up ever since. This hasn't been going on for the last 100 years. This has been going on ever since we fell asleep. Welcome to what the Anunnaki did. That goes into an entirely different aspect of knowledge at that point. But the awakening process has always been going on. What you're seeing today is an escalation of it. It's being amplified. Why? Because we are coming to the close. It's coming to the end of it. We see a lot of people today going through a lot of suffering because they've chosen to come here because they're trying to get rid of all of that karma in one lifetime. They're trying. Not that they're going to be able to do it, but they're trying. They're trying to get rid of all that karma now because the awakening's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming quickly. That's exactly why I'm here. It's because the awakening's coming. The mass awakening. Yes, I mean, the entire planet will come online. There's no stopping it. Institution can try. But let me give you the good news. No matter what institution does, no matter how much control they think they have, everything that they do, everything, because understand there are fail-safes in place. Everything that they do is going to do nothing but cause the awakening to happen.
Well, if these guys notice the drops that me and Sam are putting on Facebook, we're smacking shade toward the system, because the more people are realizing the censorship, the shrouding of truth, the more they're just digging for truth and light.
Let me answer something real quick. Let me answer something. I see a question. It says, I assume Eldon doesn't believe in the simulation theory. Not in the way that you believe in it. The simulation theory is a metaphor for what people think is this matrix, where this matrix is only one piece of thread in the entire fabric of what it is. It's not that I don't necessarily believe in the simulation theory as you see it. It's the best way you can describe it.
Right. That's a good analogy. How do you try to, oh God, how do you try to define an infinite grid or an infinite thermometer that has no limit of heat index or
what you're talking about when
index.
you say grid, you know, most people picture this in their heads because again, they're trying to wrap their head around what you're saying. What the grid is, it's not a grid that's lines and all of this thing. It's not like that. Okay. It's just kind of like how the planet is structured with its vibrational fields. It's not, you're not seeing anything as far as a symmetrical pattern. It's not like that. It's a connection. Everything is connected. That's what we call as the grid. The grid is just an analogy for it. It's truly a connection, not a grid per se.
Mm-hmm. These guys are really active, bro. Even though we don't remember, the errors thinking that we're not retaining anything. True, Ms. Morgan. I mean, the soul is always experiencing. Like I was sharing with Brother Eldon today, or maybe yesterday, what I realize is the soul would rather have a bad experience than none at all.
And that's, you know what, that's a very important takeaway for tonight, all right, that I really want to put out there. No matter how bad things get in your life, and things can get pretty rough for folks, you know, they can become very emotional. You know, you might go through heartbreak, you might go through financial struggles, whatever your problems may be, just know this. Have trust. Have trust. I'm not going to tell you to have faith. I want you to have trust in yourself that you have chosen to experience that for a reason. Have trust in your soul that your soul knows exactly what it's doing.
it goes right back to the thought, or the process of we don't need to truly understand everything right now. We don't.
Well, I can tell you this, and I'm going to speak this from experience
Okay.
because I'm experiencing right now. I am experiencing this right now. I have something going on in my life right now, which I'm not going to get into, but it's absolutely devastating to me. Okay. But I have to trust in myself. I have to trust my soul that I have to go through this. Now, is it something that I just have to trust? Fortunately, in my situation, I don't have to necessarily do that because I can see it. I know that I have to go through this, and so I endure it. I have to go through this so that it can be a guide for others to say, this is how you do it. Most people in my shoes right now would have already lost their shit.
Right. True. True, bro. You want to talk real quick? We still got some time. That is, unless you've got to go.
No, I'm good, man. You keep it going, man.
Let's talk real quick about the burning off of karma. These guys are we're trying so hard to burn this shit off. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on right now, Eldon, and the burning off of this karma.
So the karma that develops, okay, you become karma connected when you've lost connection with yourself. And what I mean by that is that when you don't remember who you are, okay, and you stay in that dogmatic way of thinking and that dogmatic belief, all right, and I hate it, and I'm not going to specifically name names, but when you're in that religion, okay, and you believe in this almighty God, and you believe in all of this dogmatic stories that you're being told, okay, you are in a loop. You are in the karmic loop. And what happens is when you do these bad things, when you end this life, believe this or not, you are still in that karmic loop because you're still believing in the dogma. This is what tells you that the veil is not just specific to this third density. This veil goes beyond. With that veil still there, you still think that there's something to this belief system. So now you're going to go and you're going to leave this existence and you're going to see your, how this life went. And you're going to go, oh, wait, I did this bad thing or I did that bad thing. Oh, man, I've got to pay for that. I've got to fix this. So here you come back in another existence trying to fix that. But guess what's happening? You're building more karma. You stay in that cycle. The minute you come into the remembrance of who you are, you break that karmic cycle because you come to understand that you're not making mistakes. You're experiencing the things you have to in order for your soul's evolution.
Or that paradoxical loop until that karma is burnt off.
Well, until the karma is either burnt off or you have soul memory. Once that soul memory comes to light, you don't have any karma left. Because if you know who you are in soul form, if you have that true remembrance, you are going to, from your heart, through your soul, forgive yourself for everything that you've done, not just in this lifetime, but every other lifetime that you've existed. It breaks the karmic cycle.
Well, why and or where would you see the karmic cycle a necessity?
No, it's not a necessity at all. It's actually something that's been programmed into the system, as you like to put it, by dogma and by all of the false information that's been given. This was started back with the Anunnaki.
Miss Tammy Bonham says, maybe if a person gets rid of religion, maybe they will see the light and the karma and the recycle program.
You don't have to get rid of religion. All you have to do is start looking from within. You don't have to get rid of religion. Because I'm here to tell you, the minute you look from within and you actually see yourself for who you are,
It'll fall away anyway.
it's going to just fall away anyway.
Yep. This is true. This is
why religion is very, very afraid of people waking up. Because when they do, religion goes away. It goes back to the way it used to be.
Miss Dawn says, it is said that blood is thicker than water. Bullshit. Lies and more dogma.
Let me I'd like to comment on that.
Yeah.
It's been said that blood is thicker than water. Bullshit. Lies and more dogma. I like that. Lies and more dogma. Well, let me help understand that just a little bit more. You are the one that created the dogma and the lies. This is not something from outside yourself. Not somebody else out there is doing this. There's not somebody out there controlling you. You created it. You are the one controlling it. You are the one that put it in place so that you had a hard time remembering, because it wouldn't have been remembering and a challenge if you could remember easily. You're the one that put these blockades and barricades in front of yourself.
Mr. Chuck McClellan says, can you explain the Anunnaki?
There is your true form of what I like to compare to what some people call as the fallen angels. These are an entity that wanted to call themselves gods, that decided to put things in place that was never intended to be.
Now, what he's also saying, let me try to dumb this down a little bit. And that is the distortion of what we talked about on Wednesday, Eldon. The biennial, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that put this distortion of what this is in place, trying to fabricate like I guess you could use, like you said, the lens, right? This is the lens. They clouded the lens of what you are, who you are, and created a focal point on they were the gods. Now I'm talking about the gods of the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. If you notice, right, Enki and Lil, those two, as well as Anu, the father, right? We know them, right? The one distortion was Enlil says, I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's what he told in the Old Testament. That is a distortion. In fact, that is the blasphemy of all blasphemies. That is him saying that he is superior over you. When
he can't be.
He can't be.
That's the point. He can't be.
Right.
He's not superior over me. And the reason for that is because I created him.
He is you and you are him.
There you go.
That's the fucking paradox. That's really,
right.
really, really hard to chew.
That's right.
How do you even grasp this? Because this is above religion. This is above anything that we've ever been taught. When you get really, truly back to the light of source and the mm-hmm. source of light origin, mm-hmm. none of this convoluted distortion, illusion, it means shit. It means nothing. Nothing. That's why, I thought interviewing you and talking to you about this topic and your story was really fundamental as a follow-up of Wednesday, talking about the pineal, the heart connection. Trust your heart. To hell with this distortion mechanism, the brain.
Yep. Trust your soul.
Trust your heart. Your heart.
Trust your soul.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really a great follow-up of as from Wednesday, man. And
yeah, and exactly. I can't say that you have to remember, because you don't. Right now, you don't have to. You can just live your life how you need to live it, and live your life to the fullest that you can in this third density. Don't try to worry about doing things that you're not meant to do right now. Don't worry about trying to remember. Don't worry about trying to channel things and all of these crazy things. What you should worry about right now is living your life to the fullest that you can live it in this third density. All else will come naturally.
I think what Miss Tammy just dropped was really, really profound. And again, this is not me attacking anybody's religion, because I won't do that. Tammy says, I personally think that religion is the chains that bind the individual to cycles.
Okay. Well, you have to understand that at that point, when you're talking about these chains, yeah, we can relate it to chains. You know, you're imprisoned, or you're enchained, or you're caged, or however you want to put it, or you're blinded, however you want to, word it and say it. The fact remains is that, like in Tammy's case, Tammy will come to understand that she's the one that put the plant there. Is religion change? Yes, but she'll come to understand that she also co-created religion.
She co-created those chains. Again,
That's right.
This is the paradoxical loop that is really hard to define. Mr. Gonzo, my buddy, says, Eldon, all of your previous experiences, who were you in your last experience?
In the physical form?
I would say, yeah, let me add to Gonzo's question. Who were you in your last third density experience?
In my very last one?
Yes.
Well, the very last one was quite profound. That one, I was actually in Germany. I was in Germany. I was a religious advisor to the SS.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. What else you want to know? That's who I was.
What happened to you? Were you on the same path? Were you an awakened person? Not awakened person?
Again, I was a religious leader for the SS. I've always been on the path of some sort of spiritualness in some form or another. All right. Like I'll explain another one. I remember fighting against the Knights Templar. I remember a time when I did that. I mean, I remember all of them. I remember one where, like I was telling you today, in fact, I mean, I remember one time I was protecting my family. It was over some sort of taxes going on. And in the mix of everything, one of what we call the Kingdom's Guard was involved in that. And subsequently, that guard was killed in the process of that situation. And I was in prison for the rest of my life, where I was required to endure a whiplashing every 2 days for the duration of that entire lifetime. I mean, so much so that I still feel the lashes even right now. And that's just one lifetime. I remember all of them. And I experienced the emotions associated to every one of them. That's why I have to do the best I can to try to, when I'm trying to function in this life, I have to focus on this over here and try to set that other stuff aside. This is why that veil is in place. It's a protective device. This is how I know that. It's a protection.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine coming back in knowing that my neighbor raped my little girl, or slaughtered my kid, whatever. Oh God, could you imagine that? Could you imagine coming back in knowing?
Well, I tell you, I'll say something a little comical. I stated it even today. I went to Walmart today. And I'm at the point, like I said, I'm expanding out now. I'm able to see other spirits. I can physically see someone's spirit's outline around them. And I go into Walmart, and I see some guy walking in Walmart, and like automatically you want to run up to him and say, hey man, how you doing? How you been? And
no shit.
But how do you tell the guy that you're trying to say hello to a guy that you knew 1,100 years ago?
Right. I
mean, you can't necessarily do that.
They would have you locked up on the third floor, bro.
You ain't lying.
Here, check this out. So Miss Tammy Bottom, I'm not trying to start any shit, but Tammy says, no, sir, I did not create those chains. I broke through them. I understand what they are about, and I'm free. I have free will.
I am so glad that Miss Tammy is free of the chains that she designed to begin with.
Gonzo says, Eldon, do you remember how you died in your previous lives? And he just went over that.
Yes.
Truth Matters, which is Miss Dawn Sanford. She says, one life I died with my child in a log cabin. We burnt to death. So yeah, we're gonna have other people waking up to these things. And again, knowing you from where you were to who you are now, it to me is completely profound. And speaking of which, Miss Morgan, she says she's really enjoying the conversation. It's fun. I love discussions like this, especially whenever we have difference in understandings. And again, that's where we are as individuals. The understandings are going to come when they come. I'm glad, to be honest with you. I am really, really glad, and I'll even say this publicly, that I have someone that, you and these people that I can vent to, and I can talk with, and I can share my experience with, that's gonna understand it, or at least try to grasp it. Because if I were to go outside, I'd go to public and talk about these things, bro, it would go right over their head. They wouldn't understand it, and again, I would be joining your ass on the third floor.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. What do they call them? They call those bunk buddies, don't they?
Oh boy.
Holy crap, man.
All right, Mr. Eldon, I think I'm going to have I do believe it is Friday. I'm going to have a beer with yourself, with you. If you join me and these brainiacs up here in the tribe after this is over.
Did you just say a beer?
I did.
I don't do that shit no more,
Oh.
bro. I got to take it a little bit different.
All right. Well, talking about what we're talking about and me having processed, this is one of the reasons why I indulge anymore in yeah. So look, Eldon, again, I appreciate you. And if any of these guys up here would like to participate in a group chat after the broadcast, they're more than willing to do that. Or they have the ability to do that. Eldon, thank you for joining me and sharing your story.
Absolutely, man.
with everybody.
And you knew that you knew the story, and it was a pleasure sharing it with everybody else. And look, for everybody else listening to these things, in your mind, you may not in your mind fully understand what's going on. You may not fully understand everything that's been said, but know something. Know that your soul knows it. Your soul recognizes it. Even if your brain's not able to wrap it around itself, your soul knows and it understands. And when you come to your awakening, it's going to remember it. Trust me on that. It will remember.
Mr. Eldon McInville Sr., where can these guys find you outside of this broadcast?
You can find me on Facebook. It's not closed. You can find me on Facebook.
You also got
Eldon McInville Sr.
the Paranormal Family Channel on Roku.
That's on Roku, and McInville Paranormal also on Facebook. You can go to McInvilleParanormal.com. That's our website. The same thing with Paranormal Family Channel. We've got a business page on Facebook. You can find us there too.
Excellent. All right, Homer, look. Nobody comes to Matrix, even you, without saying something positive to all of these beautiful fractals of us. They are us. You are them. Share something positive.
Trust your soul. Trust your soul. And then when times get hard, just know that your soul knows what it's doing. You'll get through it, and something better will come in the end of that.
Excellent. All right, bro. I will catch you after the broadcast with everybody over here. That is if they want to join us. Thank you again, Eldon. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, Matt.
All right. Later, buddy.
All right.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, gals and goons, Jaya, man. I personally think that this was an awesome discussion. I'm glad. I can tell you that I'm glad that I did not have the remembrance of the past lives. I'm glad I didn't have because trust me, if you join me and Eldon in the video conference chat after the broadcast, y'all got an opportunity to talk to him even more in depthly, because what the things he's going through right now, the things that he's going through are pretty profound. Indeed, it is amazing, interesting to watch him go through and share this with myself, and primarily myself and Mr. Benny Trent. So shout out to you, Benny Trent. Love you, bro. Shout out to you. Everybody, look, I remember because I was there. You take it for what it is. And again, we're not trying to brainwash anybody. I'm truly not. Your belief is concrete. And I'm not here to shake that up. I'm truly not. I'm just here to share with you my experience and everyone else's experience. And everybody else's experience is different. We are all quite unique. We are very unique. Very unique. Brainiacs, you guys are little gods waking up. Even in most of the sacred texts you'll see on this planet, Christ himself says, "Did I not yet say you are gods as well? And those who come after me will do my things as well as greater things." Take that for what it is. Brainiacs, when the gods come home, you guys, peace out. I love you. Take care of yourself. I will catch you here on Monday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock West Coast time. In the meantime, it is time to crank it up. You guys, God's coming home. Right there. Let's go right now. You are the light.
They call me light when the world is burning. And I know I'm not alone, but I'm waiting on the day when the gods come home. They call me bright. They call me light.